Hi guys, how are you? I am good. I have a lot to talk about. It's so much so that I can't even wrap my head around it. I've tried to start this like 5 times. The Karen Reed trial has started again. They've hired a guy to work for the state, and I just found out yesterday that they've already paid him $250,000. Don't they usually have people who already work for the state? And Lolly's there, but he's apparently not the guy they want. So this other gentleman is doing a very good job. But he even says in the opening that the EMTs saw that John's injuries were not consistent with a car accident. What I really want to see is, why did John lose so much blood and they found none of it at the scene? Because he lost liters and liters of blood, like at least half of his blood. This is a major component. And they're not supposed to mention that there's already been a trial, which means we're dealing with a jury that knows so little. Like, how they couldn't know that this has already been tried is astounding to me. And why they're not allowed to mention the first trial. It's been 3 days and they've already had a couple of flubs. It's kind of scary. But it's a very exciting new thing. And I absolutely love another commentator, Rumors, Gossip, and Innuendo. Kathy is so damn funny. And I feel bad because I'm definitely like swimming in the same lake as she is by doing what I'm doing. I found her through Paul reporting live from my sofa, and I am 100% stealing his idea. Him and True Crime Loser. I was like, well, if these people can sum this stuff up, I would love to as well, because my family is so overhearing about it. I needed someone I could connect with, and that would be you guys. So, but Kathy is wonderful, and I do not want to step on her toes because she is so funny. She did Q&A a couple weeks ago, and I asked, have you done any improv classes? Have you taken any comedy classes? Because she is a natural. She has excellent delivery. She's very much in the moment. She even explained that, like, most of the time she doesn't remember what she said. It just comes out, and then she watches it later, and she's like, I didn't realize I said that. Perfect comedian. She is an outstanding comic. I love Gossip, Rumors, and Innuendo. And I'm not as scared to talk about the Karen Reed trial because Kathy said that she doesn't find Karen very likable. I can't argue with that, because I don't think anybody in this trial, any witness, any individual except for the lawyers, I love AJ, are likable at all. So Karen Reed has started. They actually honored John correctly and talked about what an amazing person he is. If all of us were 1/10 the man that John O'Keefe was, the world would be a better place. He adopted his kids after his sister died of cancer and her husband died of a heart attack 2 months later. How hard enough is that? So what did they do? They take a woman who's had more pain, 3 times as much pain as any one individual should ever endure. Let's put her on the stand. And she had us all wiping away tears very quickly. I feel for Miss O'Keefe. I really do. And I don't even hate that she dislikes Karen so much, because when it comes to loss, somebody has to pay for this. Karen paid for her other son's DUI bills, which have to be at least tens of thousands of dollars. But I understand that she's not thinking about that. She's missing an absolutely amazing son. And she's been through enough, and she shouldn't have had to have get on the stand. But get on? I wish they hadn't put her up there. But obviously, this new lawyer, Mr. $250,000, to start, he's going to be a millionaire by the end of this trial, because they had to hire outside work because the state can't fight this case because it never should have been brought to trial. He wants to get emotion out of people, so he put Carrie Roberts on the stand and showed her a picture of her dead friend so she would cry, and that really, really angered me. And I don't like Carrie, though. Carrie wasn't a part of any of this fuck shit. She just got a panicked call from Karen early in the morning, and then she was brought into this horrible thing. And then well, we have to figure out our timeline, so we have to write down the timeline and like make sure we have a timeline. And then they blame John's mom for asking for a timeline, when it's like, do innocent people need a timeline? No. And if they really thought that Karen should have gotten a DUI, they would have arrested her on the site. If she's saying, I hit him, and they think she hit him and that she should have been cuffed that night, and she was not, because, as the prosecution said, the EMT even notices that the injuries are not consistent with a car accident. The man lost over 50% of his blood, and they did not talk about this at the last trial, and I super fucking hope that they bring this up on this one. I do love that they're going to use metadata and say he died in a warm place and was brought to a cold place. I really hope, I mean, that's a true and good angle, and I really hope it works, because that, you can't fight metadata. And they didn't focus on it enough at the last trial. They said that his phone said that he went inside, he went up a flight of stairs, he went down a flight of stairs, or vice versa. And then the phone stops being tracking what he's doing, because this man's death was quick. And I guess that's the only solace I have to any of this, that at least it was fast. But he had to fight off a dog that has been rehomed, and that had to have hurt. This trial is very stressful and very saddening. So I want to talk about comedy instead. And I haven't even watched it. I've seen so many reviews, but I want everybody to get off of Joe Rogan's back, please. I think everybody's very jealous of a bunch of money. I think it's really neat that he said, I want a comedy club, and he bought a old theater, and it looks beautiful in there. He did an amazing job on top to bottom. The green room looks badass. It looks like a wonderful venue. I would only be upset if I were another comedy club owner in that town, because he even said they used to go to these other people and now they come straight to me, which is, I don't blame him. Joe Rogan is a good comedian. I am not going to say that he sucks. I think everybody's forgetting, because I didn't see Burn the Boats, but I have seen many clips, and I get it. He screams a lot. There's a lot of references that he used to hump stools, and he's not humping stools anymore and everything. But you know what? He was one of the filthiest and funniest acts I saw at the Aspen Comedy Festival. He is a pleasure to watch, and he is a comedian. And no, I'm sorry, he's not going to be Louis C.K. He's never going to be Bill Burr. He's never going to be Pryor or Carlin. But he is absolutely decent, and he's a wonderful advocate for the art. And I understand that people are jealous that it's a fucking popularity contest, and that, you get the Rogan bump, which is a really good song by Crackamico, by the way. It's it fucking thumps. It's great. It's got a wonderful bass line, and I really love Crackamico. And man, is he cutting. And there's truth to all of it. You know what? You got the face of an alcoholic. If it's not a drinking problem, I don't know what to call it. It is gave me chills. I am worried about Bert too. Fame goes to people's heads, but I will always defend and advocate for comedians. Somebody in one of the comedy videos I've watched this week, which are now a blur, except for, oh my God, Elephant Graveyard, you're a genius. But they were saying, it doesn't take 10 years. You know what? It really does. It really does take years and years and years because no one has a voice when they first, and I hate that term too. You have to find your voice. Oh, I hate it, but it's true. Because the thing that annoys you most about other people is the thing that you do. And so you do have to find a voice, and everybody sounds like their favorite comedian the first time they do stand up. It's true. And you have to learn how to work a crowd. You have to learn how to formulate a good punchline, whatever you end up being, a storyteller. Bert is a storyteller, and he's good at it, and he always has an excellent punchline. And Woody Allen was a phenomenal storyteller. I love storytelling comedians, and I'm going to defend Bert. He's worked his ass off. So has Tom. They've all worked their fingers to the bone in this business, and I love them all. I love all comedians, so you're not going to hear me disparage anyone. I'm sorry. Apparently, Burn the Boats, you know what? People are they're expecting such a high level. It'd be impossible to actually deliver what people are anticipating, and nobody's remembering that it was fucking live on Netflix for 1 billion people to watch if they wanted to. That is a lot of fucking pressure. And Elephant Graveyard does a meticulous, and I can't disagree with his breakdown. It's very, very good. It's really snarky. And you do see him start to stress. He points out that he has very similar jokes to Brandon, which is a compliment to Brandon, because he wrote a couple of good jokes. And Brandon was an athlete that was told as funny. And no, he's not as good as many other stand-ups, but Bert was doing stand-up before he knew Joe. He is not famous because, okay, he is famous because he went on Joe Rogan, but he's consistent. He has been consistently putting out material, and he has worked his ass off. Touring is really, really hard. I don't care if you are touring with all of your friends and putting together an excuse to party for 3 weeks. It's fucking hard work, and you don't get to continually sell out Red Rocks and other arenas with all of your friends. It is with all of your friends. I'm so in the middle on this, but Bert is a good comedian, and I don't want to hear any more shit about it. He found his niche. You know what, the shirtless shit, it's a gimmick, but it's worked for him, and apparently there are other comedians. You know, there was a guy dressing up like Bigfoot when I was doing stand-up. He was the Bigfoot comic. What was it? The bunnies at my other shows think I'm funny, I think, is one of the jokes he used to. He wore a fucking Bigfoot costume. You know what? I've seen a lot of bad acts. Maybe these people need to go to more open mic nights and see what bad stand-up is, and maybe they'll back the fuck off on all these really, really good comedians. I am so elated to see that Louis C.K. is doing Red Rocks, and if I have 4 pennies, there is a fucking website that's not the first website, and it's not Red Rock selling these tickets. It's a scalper website, and they are asking over $500 for some of the seats to Louis C.K. He's back, and he's had to crawl his way back twice. He's crawled his way to the top twice. Louis C.K. is a genius, and he's doing Red Rocks, and I'm really, really fucking happy to see it. And as a woman who is at the very Aspen Comedy Festival that another comedian called him out for doing not even the worst thing in the world. He's no fucking Crystalia, right? He's not DMing bitches. He's not breaking his wife's heart, because this is before he had a wife. I would have been devastated. I would have been confused and upset and heartbroken if it had happened to me at the comedy festival that I was at which I shook his hand. I still love him. He doesn't deserve to never be allowed to do funny things again, but he has worked his ass off to get back to where he is. And so I'm happy to see that. And I'm afraid to watch Burn the Boats because it has such poor reviews. But hey, I really, really adore Chris Rock, and I've always said that he's the best living comedian since George Carlin died. And then the whole bullshit at the Oscars happened, and I was like, and he proves me right, because who has the most class? No one would have handled that with as much grace as Chris Rock did. And then he waits 2 years to even say anything about it when everyone's like, hey, do a podcast. And like, Will Smith, like, oh, I've invited him in to come talk to me at your stupid red table. And like, you've got issues, dude, obviously. You were the last person he should do an interview with. So don't even disparage the man. And I watched the special, and it's so good, and it's building up to his point, and he's made this beautiful picture he's painted, and then he chokes on the punchline, and I bet he is still waking up in sweats over that, because every comedian, somebody fucked up the last joke of the season on Saturday Night Live on the news. So it might have been Colin Jost. Fucked up his last joke, and he's like, I'm going to be thinking about that all summer. And I knew exactly what he was talking about. That's, yes, they will be thinking about that forever, and you won't fix it until the next show in the fall, because you're only as good as your last show. And I have nothing else to say. I think I'm finally done. Thank you so much for letting me emote and bitch and get all of this off my chest. And I'm sure I will have more useless and pointless things to say in the future. I miss you guys, and we'll hang out more often.